are able.
Audible, sir.
Fine. So let's get started for today. So in my previous class, we talked about different varieties of storage which we have in S3. So I told S3 has 6 varieties basically. And based on your usage, based on your cost, you will go ahead with one of them. When you say that I will go for S3 standard, you get features like backup at 2 places, high availability, high durability, and all those things. But the only problem which you see here is that cost-wise, it is comparatively more. Okay. Then if you want a lower cost, you can go with S3 standard IA, okay, infrequently accessed, where the data is not that frequently accessed, yet the availability and all are important for me. So if you come here, you can see the availability is little bit compromised from 99.99. You can see it has gone to 99.00. But I save a good amount of cost. If you compare in terms of cost, I go with 6.25 USD compared to 11.50 USD. And Glacier, I only have $2. It is cold storage, or it is kind of an archival solution. Then when I go for one zoned IA, further I'll decrease the cost, and I have intelligent tier, which I use the machine learning algorithm, where it is the most cost effective way, because then your data usage pattern is analyzed, and based on that, the data is archived, kept in S3 standard, or whatever has to be done accordingly, it will happen. Now, here there are a few points, like S3 is object based. It means whatever you want, you can upload on S3. There is no limitation like, okay, only this will go or that will go. You can go ahead and upload anything. The files which you will upload can range from 0 to 5 terabytes. So one file can be maximum 5 terabytes, which you can just upload, drag and drop or upload. S3 will give you unlimited storage, and whatever you stored in the bucket is known as object. Now S3 has a universal namespace. Simple meaning is that it should be globally unique. Now, there is one more thing, which is S3 transfer accelerator. So if I come here back to my console, and let me log into my console. Let me log in. Downloads. Guys, if you have audio issue now, then you can please rejoin once, because I think there is no audio issue from my side. If still you are facing audio issue, please rejoin. I'll put it on the chat window. Please rejoin if you are still facing a audio issue. Now, if you see this bucket which I had created, you can come here. Okay, and you can come here and wait a second. You can come to properties. So bucket versioning I enabled. When I enabled bucket versioning, the simple meaning is the data can be kept multiple versions. Tagging is nothing but naming it. Encryption, I will come to that. All these things I'll come. Give me some time for this. There is something called transfer acceleration. Now, what is transfer acceleration? Now, when you upload a file to S3, okay, you are very much dependent on the internet speed which you have and the size of file. So there is a chance that internet speed what you have is not that great. Okay, there is a chance that the internet speed which you're using is very slow. So if you wait a second. 1 second. Okay, so there is a chance that the file which you are sharing, okay, or the file which you're trying to upload is a big file and you don't have an internet speed or a good internet speed. So here what happens is Amazon says, use my transfer acceleration. So transfer acceleration is nothing but Amazon will give its own optical fiber networks to you so that you can transfer the data. So if you come here, there is a speed comparison tool. Just go to the link which is here, learn more, and you will come here. You will get a speed comparison tool. Go to the speed comparison tool and you can compare the speed. So come here and say S3 speed comparison tool. So the simple comparison, what will be done here is if you upload a file to US East 1 using direct upload, means whatever your internet speed is, based on that, you go ahead and upload it. Compared to you upload something with or by using Amazon's S3 transfer accelerator, you will see the difference. Okay, so it will give you some difference. Okay, because my data is not that great what I have uploaded, so it will not be that effective, but obviously it will be some better. But if you are dealing with large volume of data, you will see that it is good. In fact, here it is showing that if you go by S3 transfer accelerator, it will take more, but ideally it will not happen because internet speed is it will be 53% faster. If you go with my S3 transfer accelerator, it will give you 53% higher speed. Okay, so this is transfer accelerator. So there are two things here. One is speed, the other one is safety. So you might have seen movies, right? In movies, whenever money is getting transferred from one bank to another, they just steal the money. Similarly, here also hackers are there. People are there who are sitting over the internet, and whenever data is in movement, or we say data is in transit, they can steal your data. So whenever we transfer the data, we want to keep it secure, and hence we use S3 transfer accelerator. So you don't have to do anything additional here. Simply come here and say transfer acceleration and enable this. So the moment you enable, whatever data you are sending will go over a secure channel. Then one more way to keep your data secure is by doing encryption. So if you come here, there is something called encryption. Now, if you see this carefully, there are three types of encryption. I mean, here only it is showing you two types, but I will tell you what is the third type. So let me just come here. Now, let me assume that my username is this and my password is, okay. In a S3 file, I have kept it like this. So anybody who has access to the S3 file can come here and take the data and he can do anything what he wants. I don't want to keep my username and password like this. I want to encrypt it. So to encrypt the data, I will need a key. So just let me come here and create a key. Obviously, when you work on a prod environment, the key will not be this simple. Okay, but just want to show you that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so let me say V is 3. I'm just giving any random number. Okay, there is no logic behind these numbers which I'm giving. Just want to make sure that you understand what is encryption. Okay, now this is my key. And using this key, I will encrypt my data. So how will my data look like? So now Vikas will become 3EFBG, right? This is my username. And the password is P stands for A stands for B, SS means GG, and DVW. So now, rather than storing my username and password like this, I'll store it like this. And this key I will store somewhere else. So now what I have done is, even if some hacker gets hold of this data, okay, he will need this key to decrypt the data. So I will keep these two things at two different places. So this is another way in which I can safeguard my data. Okay. So this way of safeguarding your data is known as encryption. You encrypt the data with the help of a key. Now, any point you don't understand, you tell me, okay? Now, there can be two varieties to this. Now, if I talk about key, so one variety can be AWS will provide you the key. Okay. Second is customer will say, no, I will use my key. The customer will say customer provided key. Third is a combo. Now, when you say AWS provided, it means you are very much confident of what Amazon is doing. So you're saying, Amazon, you only save my data. You only decrypt my data. And you only encrypt my data. Okay. When it is customer provided key, you say, Amazon, you save my data, but encrypt and decrypt. This will be done by me, means I am the customer, so I will do it. Save, Amazon save the data. Okay, so this is the difference here. So in customer provided, the key is coming from customer and saved in AWS. Now, the third variety, or the one which is widely used, is okay, Amazon will save the data, okay, but encryption and decryption will be me plus AWS. Means it is like a bank locker. When you go to a bank locker, there will be two keys to open that. One will be with the bank and the other one will be with you. So you can easily open only when the customer agrees. The bank cannot open without their own consent. So these are the three varieties. In Amazon, this is known as SSE, means server side encryption. S3, this is the default one. This one is known as SSE CMK, customer managed key. This one is called SSE KMS, key managed system. So most of the time you will see this combo is getting used. Okay, so always remember what is encryption, how is encryption done. The key can be not as simple as this one. So this is a very simple key. This is almost not equal to a key only. But just to make you understand, I gave this key and I'm showing you that this key can be provided to you by Amazon, or it can be provided by the customer itself, or it can be combination of these two. So if you come back here, this is what Amazon is showing. SSE S3 means Amazon will manage everything, or SSE KMS, which is 50-50 ownership. SSE CMK is not being shown you here, but obviously when you request, you will get that also. So remember, three types of encryptions are there. As of now, it is disabled. If you want, you can enable it and you can say what type of encryption do you want to do. That is totally up to you, what encryption you want to do. Whether you want to encrypt your file or not. Obviously, encryption will come with a cost. Okay, so any additional feature if you're taking, that comes with a cost. Then properties, versioning I told, tag I told, encryption I told, intelligent tiering archive configuration. So you can configure it from here, or you can go to S3 intelligent tier and from there also transition rule, and you can do that also. Server access logging. So if you remember, I told that S3 is good for keeping the logs. Logs are nothing but it is a track, like who did, what was done. Many a times when you visit a website, let me say I visited Amazon.com. Okay. and I was trying to buy this pair of shoes. So I clicked on this. Okay. And then I was able to view all these things. Now what happens? Now, if I come back here and let me say I open another website, Times of India. Now you will see in this place, this advertisement will come. And this advertisement is very similar to what I was browsing some time back. Now, how did my website know that I was looking for that shoes? Because at the end of the day, server logs are getting stored. So if you're hosting your website on AWS, the server logs, the clickstream data, like who came, what they were trying to buy, when, what they were scrolling, did they go for price, were they able to purchase it, all those details will be stored here in server access logging. It is also beneficial in debugging so one is marketing. You will target the right customers. You will say, okay, this customer was looking for a shoe, he was looking for a book, whatever it is, if you're an online website like Amazon, or if you are some website where somebody was trying to get into your website, the logs will tell you who was that, what was he trying to do, whether he was successful or he failed, all those things will be there in the server access logs. So this is called as server access logging. You have to simply enable it and link a website with this. Automatically, all the data will be captured. CloudTrail, I will tell you what is CloudTrail when I'm teaching CloudTrail. Again, I will come to this point. Event notification, I will come when I'm teaching SNS. Event bridge, I will teach you when I'm teaching Lambda. Transfer acceleration, I just now told you. Object lock, as of now it is disabled, but you can enable it. It means whatever you will put here will always be in a logged state. Even if we try to make it public, it will not go. Then I told you that you can take backup of your data. So I told you there is something called S3 backup policy, where you can say that even if the data is deleted in the source bucket, it should be there in the destination. And in the destination, I told that it can be your bucket or it can be a bucket on a different account. There I told that if you are storing your data on a different account, means at the end he has to pay for storage. So if you're storing data for someone else, you can ask for this requesters pay. Means if I'm storing data for company X should pay the amount for this storage. I am not going to pay for the storage. Then there is something called static website hosting. Now, what is static website? So let me say form filling website. So I'm looking for a website. Wait a second. Something like this. So this website is something which will be stagnant. Like today, suppose a website is something like this or something like this. So today you come, tomorrow you come, after 3 years you come, after 5 days you come, you will see the same page every now and then. But if you come to websites like Amazon.com, you will say, now it is showing shoes. After some time, it will show you a different diagram. So this keeps changing. So this kind of website is known as dynamic website. It keeps changing. But there are websites which are stagnant. They don't change. Nowadays, there are very limited websites which are like that. But still, there are websites which are stagnant. So what you do is come here. And so initially it will be disabled. You come here and enable this. You enable this and say, I want to host a static website. So when you say that I want to host a static website, it will ask you for two things, index.html, error.html. So what I have done is I've created those two files and have uploaded it and simply come here and say, save the changes. So now the first thing is where will I get index.html? So what you have to do is you have to open a notepad, file, save as, and here make it as all files, and here write index.html. Similarly, you save error.html. And what will you write inside those files? So this is my index.html. So what I have written it like this. Now, if I don't want to open in a browser, I want to open it in Notepad. So let me say open with Notepad. So this is the code you will write. HTML, then H1. This is an index page, /HT1, /HTML. Okay, this is what I have written for my index.html. And same way I have written for error.html. This is an error page. Now what I will do, I will upload these two files to my bucket. If you want, you can do a drag and drop also. Just pull it like this, come here and put it like this. So not like this. Objects. You can go to upload, add files, and you can go and add these two files. So where it is, desktop. This is error.html and this is index.html. Open both of them and upload them. Okay. Upload both of them. Once it is uploaded, come here and make them public. So come here, so I can see my error.html. Come here, action, make public using ACL. Yes, make public. Close this. Close this. Then similarly, you go and use this index.html, make it public. Once it is done, close this again. Now come back to your bucket. Go inside your backup bucket. So not backup, the dummy one. Dummy bucket. Then you can come here and go to your properties. And down the line, you will see that there is a static website and there is a URL. Just copy this URL and put it here. Enter. What are you seeing? You're seeing whatever you have in your index.html page. Okay, so this is a static website. The content will remain as it is. Now, if you have a hi-fi website, then you create a hi-fi index.html and upload it here. That is one thing. Now, if accidentally I get my index.html deleted, so what should happen? So let me say this index.html got deleted. Somebody deleted it.
Vikas, here one question. AWS will provide automatically the web server to host for this
automatically
storage.
No.
Okay, we have to enable. We have to ask for service that. Yes.
So there is a question here. Instead of making each object as public, can we make the entire bucket public? Yes, I will come to that. Give me some time. I will show you how we can make the entire bucket public. Give me some time for that. But to answer your question, yes, there is a facility available for that. So as of now, what I have done, I went ahead and I deleted my index.html. Now let me come here and refresh this page. What is happening? It is going to the error page and it is showing me error.html. So this static website thing is not that frequently used because, as I told you, most of the websites are no more static as of now. But then there is one use case here where it says that in case you have a website and you want it to host a static website here, yes, you can do it. Now the question can come, can I host a dynamic website? Yes, you can, but the problem is with the speed, you will not get that speed, what you're looking at. So better not to go with any dynamic website for S3. Can I put a database here? Go ahead. S3 is not stopping you, but you will not get the performance. Means quickly the data will not be visible to you. So it will take time. Now, the second tab, so we just now discussed about properties. The second tab which you see here is permission. So as of now, you see the permission is public. So I've done something here. So I'll just come here and delete this. Then I will tell you what. Let me just come down here. Come here. Let me refresh this page once. Okay. When you start your journey, when you create a bucket, by default, this block public access is enabled. I have disabled it. But assuming that you have just started, you did not do anything. So just when you start, it is like this: block all public access. Means by default, S3 is always private in nature, right? So if this is the feature, or if this is what it comes with, how will you know that? Confirm. So here, the access says bucket and the object are not public. So I told you initially that my bucket is like my 3 BHK apartment. If the main door is closed, the object inside, even if you close it, you open it, does not matter because the main door is closed. So if we here, the first statement says bucket and objects are not public. Okay. So this is bucket closed, objects also closed. Now I know that if I unblock this, at least my bucket will become public. So I'll go ahead here and I will unblock this. This is, I'm doing at bucket level. Come here and save the changes. Now you will see objects can be public. The bucket is public because I have unblocked all these things. So it says objects can be public. Now I know how to make the objects public. One by one, I will go and make them public via ACL, access control list. But then I can have a requirement where I want to make everything public. In one shot, I want to make everything public. So for that, Amazon gives me something called bucket policy. So a bucket policy is again like your IAM policy, which is written in a JSON format, and bucket policy do not apply to the object owned by other accounts. But if it is in the same account, same bucket will be applicable. So let me show you how can I make this bucket fully public. So what I will do is I'll come here and say in the bucket policy, I'll come and say edit. Now, either you should know how to write a JSON code, or you can come here to policy generator. Policy generator is nothing but it is a help which you will get to write your policy. Click on this policy generator. So it's a third-party tool recognized by Amazon, which will help you to write the S3 policy. Here it says first step is for which item do you want to write. So you can use for IAM policy, SQS, S3. So as of now, I'll say I want to write a policy for my S3 bucket. What is the effect? Do you want to allow or you want to deny? So you can have a requirement. I want to deny everybody from deleting this bucket, or I want to allow everybody to see what is there in the bucket. So your requirement can be different. Based on that, you can choose allow or deny. So I'm saying allow star. Star means principal is star, means I'm allowing everyone for all the actions. So I'm saying everyone can perform all the actions. Where? So ARN is where this on this bucket. So if you read this, everybody is allowed to do everything on this S3 bucket. Add a statement, you get a statement here, generate a policy, and here you go, you get a policy. What do you need to do? Take this, come here, and just copy paste this, and remove all these things. Paste your policy. Come here and say save. The moment you save, see here, it will become public. It becomes public means now anybody can come and do anything. So obviously, many a times you will not do such things, but you should know that there are items which, if you want to make it public, you can make it public. So everything is public here. Your items which you put inside S3, your entire S3 bucket. So everything can be made public like this. So you have to write a bucket policy. Now there can be a requirement which says that, okay, I want that nobody should be able to delete my bucket. So you have to go there and say deny resource star. So nobody can delete what? So your S3, and then you give delete. So nobody will be able to delete that. Object ownership. So there can be few objects. So in S3 bucket, let me say there are 10 items. 5 belongs to one team, 5 belongs to another team. So what you will do is 5, you will give ownership to one team, 5 you want to give ownership to another team. That can be done using ACL. Okay, so you can come here and say edit, and you can enable ACL, and then object owner. Who is the object owner? You have to save the changes. So as of now, I am the only one who is here, so I can only be the object owner. But individual items can have their separate owners. Then permissions, and that is ACL explained in further detail. So when you say make, when you say that make public, so basically everyone gets a read access. So this is changed. Then I have told you how we do cross-region replication. So how do you replicate your data? So that is course. You can do it from here also. You can write a policy for that. Then there are many other things here. Now there is this thing which I will cover now. Metrics. Now metrics tells you what is the total size of the bucket. So if you see here, I had on 30th May, I was using 762.9 MB. Then I came down, or on 23rd May, I was not using anything. So it will tell me that how was my usage, what time I was using what amount of data. So here it says that on 30th May, you had some 73 count, and 73 items were there. Similarly, all these metrics will be there. Storage analysis. So if you're using S3 standard, how much S3 standard you're using. If you're using some S3 IA, how much you're using. So all these details will be captured here. And replication metrics means how much data was replicated. So basically it is more of a calculation purpose, so that you know how much storage you're using. Because if you have 100 files, you can't go and calculate one by one. Like, okay, this is 3 MB, this is 4 MB. So this thing comes here. So there are 2 more items here, management and access point, which I will cover tomorrow. Now, anyone has any question, please go ahead. I will take the questions now. One very important thing, please get your hand dirty. If you do not get your hands dirty, then you will not be able to understand. I'm always saying, please get your hands dirty. Please practice. Okay, if you are silent, I will take it that as no, so you don't have questions. So we meet tomorrow again. Tomorrow we will be able to finish our S3, and then we start with EC2. Okay, so I will say IAM is done. It will come, little things will come, but major part of IAM is done. Similarly, major part of S3 is done. I'm left with management and access point, and then we'll start with EC2. EC2 is very important. EC2 is the bread and butter. So let me say you are buying a brand new laptop. So you will see that the cost is majorly driven by the RAM, the CPU. Hard disk and all is okay. Battery, LED screen, this screen, those things are okay. But the main cost will always be because of your CPU and RAM. So in AWS, EC2 is the compute power, and that will give you the speed and performance, and obviously it will be costly. Okay. So till now, whatever we have done, none of them will have cost involved. Obviously, stay within 5 GB of storage. Don't go beyond that. Okay. So on this note, I'm stopping now. We meet tomorrow again, same time. Today, one second. Today I got delayed, but tomorrow I'll be on time, and we continue from there. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question. Like when we created the user, I mean, suppose yesterday, I mean, when you are creating the different users, like with the different roles, suppose you had created the one user with the specific role, like EC2 access. Okay. So once you give that access, so users will be logging with that specific, I mean, that their IDs and password. Okay, so that I mean remaining stuff will be there, na? So directly, I mean they used to be all the enter those details, or like it will be ready to use that. How it will be for the end users?
If you don't give them access, they will not be able to use it. If you want that they should be able to access, then go to the group and give them that access.
Okay, acha.
So you can try this. Okay, create 2 users. For one user, you give him only S3 access. The other user, you give him only EC2 access. And with the other user, try to access it. It will not work. It will never work. So you need to create a user, give him the required access, and then only it will work. Okay. Fine. See you then, guys.
Vikas,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
While just sometime before you said that AWS and customer means both the sides, they will encrypt and decrypt the data different, and means there are 3 categories.
Yes.
But
Yes.
if we falls in the customer category, in that case, we need to encrypt and decrypt data. In that case, do we require to have a knowledge on RSA algorithm or something which is applicable for decryption? Okay.
See, AWS is a managed service. So when I say managed service, everything is ready-made here. You just need to know how to use it. It is something like I'm using an Android phone. I want some payment app. So do I need to go and learn how to make a payment app? No, you can install some payment app like PayPal or Google Pay, Phone Pay, and you start using. Same happens here. Cloud is a managed service. Here you get all these features inbuilt. Like when I was creating the key pair. So if you remember in my EC2 instance, which I'll again show tomorrow, but in my EC2 instance, when I was creating a key pair, I created the key, but I did not go and create any RSA or all those things. So that is not to be done.
All right, Vikas. Thank you.
Fine. Meet tomorrow again then. See you then, guys.